abstention? Everybody voted? I'm gonna campaign anyway. Once again, I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, all the golfers and non-golfers. We're gonna do this program before we eat. We got some time, I think. But anyway, I also want to thank Steve Kennedy for filming last year and again this year. Last year, I think we gave the music industry a setback. Sorry about that, Bob. Every year we get together to have fun, but also to let Denny Dovich know that we all appreciate what he does for the golf school.
You're a pretty easy group to take care of.
We haven't gotten any better.
It's getting worse, Danny. After helping Dennis out a little bit and taking care of his golf outfit, I realized we got to do something that's special for this guy. So I didn't come up with anything. It looked like the special time will be every other year, maybe longer. But wait, maybe if I ask some other people, they might have some ideas. So Jake and Elwood and I got together, decided to get the band back together. You're in trouble. Or in our case, a trio.
Quartet.
I'll get to that, Bob.
Oh, I'm really sorry for him.
I generally need your help. Or in our case, the Blue Hat Trio. Or it might be the Blue Hat Foursome. I haven't found out yet. Just a heads up, Denny. Some of these other ideas might not be completely true. Okay, gentlemen, put your uniforms on.
I sing wrong.
That'll really help.
Oh, I'm not.
Just give us a starter.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let us go golfing with our good friend Dan. He will lead us from beginning to the end. He's the man in charge to make it all go well. And if you take orders, you can go too. He makes out the team so they are all very good. It will make no difference if you use an iron or wood. Just make sure you know with whom you ride and play. 'Cause you know the rules, so there is nothing more to say. Hey, Dave.
That's very good. That's the first. Maybe a one-timer.
I retired.
And a last.
Yeah.
Who wrote the lyrics?
Roger Hammerstein wrote the lyrics, Bob Doran wrote the words. Nobody critiqued that. One more, we're not done, Vinny. Now we're gonna hear from Vinny Porter.
Well, I just happened to stumble across this. I was on the internet, and I was looking at the Golf Pro magazine, and I stumbled across a little article that had been submitted by D. Dobish from South Dakota, and I thought, this can't be a coincidence. The article is entitled Rules Senior Style for Golf. And I'm gonna read these, and hold your applause. Rule number 1-A5. A ball sliced or hooked into the rough shall be lifted and placed on the fairway at a point equal to the distance it carried or rolled into the rough with no penalty. The senior players should not be penalized for tall grass which groundkeepers fail to mow. Rule 2-D6. A ball hitting a tree shall be deemed not to have hit the tree. This is simply bad luck. Luck has no place in a scientific game. The senior player must estimate the distance the ball would have traveled if it had not hit the tree and play from there. Rule 3-B3. There shall be no such thing as a lost ball. This ball is on the, or near the course, and will eventually be found and pocketed by somebody else, therefore making it a stolen ball. The senior player is not to compound the felony by charging themselves with a penalty. Rule number 4-C7. If a putt passes over a hole without dropping in, it is deemed to have dropped. The law of gravity supersedes the rules of golf. Rule number 5. Putts that stay close enough to the cup that they could be blown in may be blown in. This does not apply to balls that are 3 inches or more from the hole. No one wants to make a mockery of this game. Rule number 6-A-9. There's no penalty for so-called out of bounds. If penny pinching golf course owners bought sufficient land, this would not occur. The senior player deserves an apology, not a penalty. Rule 7-G15. There's no penalty for a ball in a water hazard, as golf balls should float. Senior players should not be penalized for any shortcomings of the manufacturers. We actually have a ball that is a floater, but Denny does not use it in case it's floating too far out for him to retrieve. Rule 8-K9. Advertisements claim that golf scores can be improved by purchasing new equipment. Since this is financially impractical for many senior players, a stroke per hole can be subtracted for using old equipment. And finally, rule number 9. If a tree is between the ball and the hole, and the tree is younger than the player, the ball can be moved without penalty. This is so because there's simply a question of timing. When the player was younger, the tree was not there. So the player is being penalized because of their age. Please advise all your senior friends of these important rule changes and keep multiple copies in your golf bag.
Next on our want to give Denny a warm regards list is Dave Zellinger.
One of the things that we play golf at Oakland Acres, there's a number of holes that are difficult to play and have water hazards, especially on number 7. And I found playing with Denny before that he does not like to lose a golf ball, no matter what. I mean, 5 minutes I think is the norm to hunt for a ball. Not necessarily when we're playing with Denny. He plays with a yellow golf ball, which is usually easier to find, unless it's in the deep rough, and then it could be anywhere. But one of the things that we play, and we play on say hole number 7, is that 7 at Oakland Acres has a fall off to the pond, large pond. We've all been there, and we've all been probably in it at least once. I know I have. And it goes to the east, and it sort of falls off. So it's important to keep the ball to the left. You don't want to go to the right, no matter what you do. A few weeks ago, I was playing with Denny, and he was a member of our loaded group, so to speak. And one of the couple of drives were out in the middle of the fairway. They were hit pretty well. And we had one drive that was on the right side of the fairway, close to the pond, but not in it. It was quite a bit farther, maybe 40, 50 yards ahead. And I sort of thought, well, that's a ball that's close to the green. That's the idea. All four of us drive, and you take the furthest shot, the best shot, close to the green. Now I look back there and I see Denny hovering over a ball out in the middle of the fairway. I want to preface this by Denny sometimes has a habit of pushing the ball off to the right. Sometimes a real sharp to the right. We've all had that shot. Anyway, I got thinking about that. Well, that ball's in the fairway, so that gives a lot more room if you would go to the right. So anyway, after very little discussion, Debbie decided that we would play the one in the middle of the fairway, probably to avoid the possibility of hitting it into a pond and possibly losing a golf ball. Anyway, that's where we played it. And a couple of people hit it to the right, not in the pond, might have been in the pond, I'm not sure. Anyway, we were lucky enough one of us to hit it on the green, and we parred the hole, which was really good. But I found out that Denny does not like to lose golf balls, no matter where we are, whether you take the best shot or maybe the worst shot. We wanted to take always that one that Denny did anyway, the one that's furthest away from the water hazard. Also, after playing a number of years now, I've also found out that one of the great phrases when you get into the car, when we carpool over to the course, is when Denny shows me the list, it says it's a loaded group. There's always a loaded course. That's the phrase that we all know. And when I first got into the group here, Al Orson said, yeah, we play, it's a friendly game, social gathering, this kind of thing. And Denny always gets the groups together, the foursomes or threesomes or whatever we're going to play. And it's always, there's a loaded group. But Al said, you have to remember that Denny's going to be on that.
Some things will never change.
Some things never change. Thank you.
Next up, Steve Kennedy.
Here, Dennis. Dennis, you're gonna be the photographer next.
Don't screw it up.
Well, Frank gave me a call on the phone, and he said, I got a favor to ask of you. And I said, well, what's that, Frank? And he said, I want you to talk. And I said, oh, really? And he says, I want you to talk about what the non-golfers, and we have our coffee group, which meets on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Right now it's in McDonald's, sometimes it's other places, but we meet, and there's two of us that have always asked by Denny to play golf, but we haven't been able to find our clubs, or we haven't gotten them out of the that's Dr. Barton and myself. And so anyway, Frank wanted me to talk a little bit about the non-golfing part of it. And first of all, I think we need to thank Frank for always putting this together and doing a really great job. When I first became part of the group, I didn't know everybody there, and I was trying to make a real effort to know everybody and kind of their families and their wives and all that kind of stuff. And so I got to know Frank a little bit, and Frank was telling me one day, this was early on, this has been several years ago, Frank was telling me about that he went on a vacation and kind of what they did on vacation and stuff. And I said to him, I said, Frank, did you take Arlene along with you? Frank, without missing a beat, he said, well, I asked her, but Denny didn't think it was a good idea. And that's the kind of wit and wisdom that I really appreciate from Frank, anyway. So, yeah, it's a true story, yeah. So anyway, but Frank is really a great guy and really enjoy all the guys that we get together and stuff. I do have one thing that I want to make a presentation tonight, and it actually is with one of the wives here. And it goes back to a story a lot of years ago. Mary and I, my wife Mary and I, we moved to Newton and have been in Newton since about 1982. And not long after we'd been in Newton, our oldest son, who is now, he will be 39 on Christmas Day. Chris, at that time, was only about 6 years old. So we're talking 33 years ago, back in the mid-1980s, 1985, somewhere around there. Anyway, one evening, we needed to go out to Kmart. You all remember where Kmart was at? Mm-hmm. And so we went, just Chris and I went out to Kmart, and we were walking around Kmart, and a blue light went on. You remember the blue light special? Well, of course, you know, a 6-year-old kid says, "Oh, Dad, we got to go over and see what the blue light is all about." And so I said, "Okay, we'll go over there and see." And so we went over there, and there was a gentleman over there, and he had a table laid out, and it was in the jewelry section. And he was a representative for apparently a line that they had at Kmart. And so we went over there, and the guy said, well, he said, gonna give you a presentation on our jewelry line. And he said, if you'll listen to it, he says, I'm gonna give away a free necklace, a diamond necklace, you know. And of course my son was like, oh, okay, you know. So he said, well, you gotta sign up here, you know. We signed up here, and anybody that came along, and actually there was only one other person that went along, that was there, besides myself. And so I put my name in, and this other lady came in, and she put in her name. And we both listened to the, you know, to the presentation and was respectful to the guy, and neither one of us bought anything from it. But true to his word, he had my son pick out a name out of the bucket. There was only 2 of us. And my son picked it out, and it was this lady's name, okay? And my son was a little bit, I think it was around Valentine's Day, but it was a Kmart real zirconian fake diamond. And the lady got the diamond. And so anyway, I didn't think too much about it, but we did get back into my car, and I thought, well, this is a lesson for my son. I said, Chris, I said, you know, our last name's Kennedy, and we're Irish. And I said, you may hear about the luck of our Irish. And I said, we ain't got it. So, didn't think too much more about it. And my office, I ran the USDA office in here, and we had to make deposits every day from farmers coming in, and we had to make a change in banks from one bank in town to another bank in town. And that bank happened to be, we ended up at Jasper County Savings Bank. And I don't know if any of you remember Judy McCarville. Judy was wonderful, and she helped me through it, and I helped her through our government forms and stuff. And you know, we would actually deposit over $1 million at times a day at that bank. But each day I went to that bank, and when I first went to the bank, I noticed right in the center of that bank was this big round station, and there was this lady seated at this station. And I mean, I marveled at her, okay? She was talking to people, directing people, answering the phone, writing things down, and she did it all with a smile, okay? And I thought, wow, that is really something. You know, she reminded me, I don't remember the old Star Trek Captain Aurora or whatever. She was the lady that did everything at Star, yeah, or I thought of, she was the female version of the Wizard of Oz without the curtain. And she really was the heart and soul of that bank. And I looked at her, and all of a sudden a light bulb went off in my head. And it may have been a blue light bulb. Because all of a sudden it happened to be a lady. And I said, that's the lady that won the diamond necklace. Okay? So I went up to her, and this has been it may have been even a year afterwards, and I reminded her of this, and oh yes, and we talked about it and stuff, and she goes, well, you know, I don't wear it, but only certain occasion. I didn't wear it, you know, and so believe it or not, over this year, and it's been probably 33 years, every time I've seen, and it happens to be Marva, okay, this lady, and I see her, and every time I see her, we always talk about the diamond necklace. And sometimes the diamond necklace is, she doesn't only wear it for special, very special occasions. She also says that she keeps it in a safe, so she didn't wear it. You know, that she loaned it to the Queen for, you know, something, and that it's on loan right now, and she doesn't have it. But over the years, I kept looking, and every time I'd see Marva, we would talk about the diamond necklace, and we never saw the diamond necklace. And it got to the point where I'm like, what in the world did happen? You know, where is that diamond necklace? And I got to thinking, you know, maybe it got stolen. Maybe, you know, they misplaced it. Maybe they lost it. And she's too embarrassed to tell me about it. Or perhaps Bob and she have been having financial difficulties, and they had to pawn it at the local pawn shop or something along that line. And so I thought Marva deserves a diamond necklace and stuff, and I thought we need to replace that. And I thought, where can I find one of that Kmart real zirconian fake diamond quality? And, you know, I thought, well, maybe I can find something somewhere. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, look on, where do we all get everything anymore? Amazon. There you go, Amazon. And I found one that was just a wonderful diamond, and it got 5 stars, and it was real fake zirconian diamond. And not only that, but Mary and I are prime. So it was free shipping. You know. So anyway, Marva, I have been meaning to make this presentation to you. So now you have your diamond, and every time I see you, I want to see you.
That's good.
Now, should I show them what it is?
It's actually in a pouch.
New York.
Real
Giuliani with a J.
Real velvet.
I didn't take it out of the plastic wrapper yet.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to take it out and put it on so you can all see it. Wow. I've never had anything like this.
I did ask Bob's permission before I presented it to him. And he said, oh, that'd be good. So that's going to be great. So, thanks, Steve.
Good job, Steve.
Well done.
One more. Next up, Doug Ringer. Yep. Well, I got a call from Frank too. And he said, would you say something funny about Danny? And I said, I can't think of anything. And then after I thought a little bit, I decided, well, maybe I should participate. Well, anyway, Frank did call me a couple weeks ago about something else. He said, you know, Danny does so much work every Tuesday putting all this stuff together. We really need to buy him something nice. And that makes sense. That'd be a good idea. And so I thought for a bit, and I thought, in fact, Dave
touched on the subject, he doesn't like to lose a golf ball. And a lot of times he'll drive the cart around till it runs out of gas, and then he'll move on and get another golf cart.
Their secrets will stay there.
So anyway, I said, you know, that would be a great gift for Denny, would be some golf balls. And so talked to Frank about it, and he said, yeah, that'd be a good idea. So I said, well, why don't you live over by Walmart, why don't you go into Walmart and buy a dozen medium-priced golf balls? Not the best, but, you know, medium price. And so he did, he got that. And then it wasn't probably 2 days later, Frank called me back up and he said, you know, I think we overdid it. I think, you know, we maybe got something that's a little bit too nice, because you know what happens when you buy somebody a really nice gift and they think you spent too much money for it? They'll say, you shouldn't have done that. Or they might say, you paid too much for it.
Yes.
And so I thought, now we were both kind of stressed out, because we thought, we already got the golf balls, now what do we do? And so I said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we each, Frank and I, each take a couple golf balls out of the box? And that way, Denny won't be embarrassed, he won't feel bad, because we got something too expensive. Right, Denny? Right, good idea. And so that's what we did. I said, well, you take a couple, I'll take a couple, and we'll go from there. And so that's what we did then. And after we had purchased the golf balls, which is right here. They're medium-priced golf balls, box of 12. And so after we thought about this a while, we thought, well, maybe there's still too many in there. And so we decided, maybe take out a couple more. And so, let's see what we ended up with here.
Is it yellow?
No, but there's just one sleeve, Frank. There's usually 3 in a sleeve, and there's 4 sleeves. Well, there's only one left. And so we thought, well, it's really the idea that counts, it's the thought that counts. And so, on behalf of all the golfers here today, we'd like to present Frank with one brand new medium-priced golf ball. Where's Denny? There he is. But that's not all of it. There's a bonus gift that Frank came up with, which I thought was pretty nice. And it's not a new ball, in fact, it's kind of yellow. And it's probably been used, I don't know. What it is a ball with the mascot of a major college football team. And that team's been pretty successful this year, right, Denny? The Hawks, do you remember? Well, it doesn't happen to be the Hawks. Actually, it's Iowa State. And Frank even got a matching tee. And so it's kind of a classic, really, so you might want to just keep it as kind of a memento.
Yes.
You don't want to lose it.
Yes.
And so we'd like to have you have this also.
It's a nice little
Keep
treasure.
it in a special place. Frank, it's all yours.
Thanks, guys. It's me that gives you something.
Now, one more thing. Golf ball ain't enough, Denny. Now, one more thing for you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, they come in pretty packed.
Is it safe to open? Oh my gosh, heavy.
It's a few weeks are coming in. Ball marker or something.
First place.
Oh.
My God. Oh, my God.
There you go.
World's best 2018 golf tennis team organizer.
Oh.
me a couple weeks ago and said, hey, you gotta say something about me. And I said, well, I really don't have anything. But I do, Frank. I saw it today. I couldn't, it was hard for me to believe, but anyway, I'm gonna tell the story. You guys may not believe it. Went to vote today, and Denny and Arlene were there. And they were there sitting down, and I got my ballot, and I started voting. And, anyway, I was basically done voting, and there was Denny, still sitting there, you know, with his ballot box. Arlene, I think, was done. And I kept thinking, why is it taking him so long? And, sorry, Denny, but I had to look, and I couldn't believe he was writing his name in.
Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks very much. You're a great group. I enjoy it very much.
Sing?
Yeah. One more thing, Bob, and now.
Sing?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't forget your hats. Come on, guys, you gotta lead it. We gotta lead them. You don't know how to do this.
You and me, Bob. You and me.
This is yours. Everybody get a copy of this?
Yeah.
You are my sunshine.
Okay.
Oh. He's still our leader, our golf day leader. He makes us happy each time we play. We need his guidance to keep us honest. Please don't let this man get away. Let's sing it one more time and sing it like we really mean it. He's still our leader, our golf day leader. He makes us happy each time we play. We need his guidance to keep us honest. Please don't let this man get away. Hey, Denny!
Thanks so much, guys. You're a great group. You're fun to be with. That's the great part about it.
That's a wrap, folks.
Okay, everybody turn these in, because Denny will use the backup of the.